Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and this is set number 71856, Jay's Transforming Car from the Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 4 wave. This set contains 387 pieces, 5 minifigures, and will retail for $54.99 in the US when it officially releases on January 1st, 2026. This set was gifted to me early for review by the LEGO Group through the LEGO Ambassador Network, but all opinions expressed in this video are entirely my own. I'm doing early reviews of all the January 2026 Ninjago sets right now, so let me know in the comments which set you want to see an early review of next. And if you enjoy this kind of content and you want to see more, liking the video and subscribing to the channel does a ton to help support me, and it also helps YouTube to show you my videos more often. So thank you all very much for the support, and now let's get into the review. So here's the main build of this set, Jay's Transforming Car. I didn't have very high expectations with this set. A picture leaked a couple weeks ago and I was like, yeah, it looks like a J car. But I gotta admit, after seeing it on the box and then building it up, I like this set significantly more than I expected to, and that's the case for a lot of this wave. So the main gimmick of this set, as you just saw, is it can transform. The front half of the car can completely flip over to change between two different modes. This is the regular mode. It pretty much just looks like a standard car. There's nothing especially like ninja-esque about it. But then when you flip it over, it becomes lower to the ground, and that causes the spinner crowns to touch the floor. This dragon head at the front's revealed, and now when you roll it around, the spinner crowns spin so you can like attack any enemies, and this is called dragon mode. From a play perspective, I think this is great. The way the transformation happens is incredibly smooth. I think back to like Cole's Tread Assault from 2012, which is a set I had as a kid, which had a similar gimmick. The whole idea was you were able to flip it upside down and could still drive along, but when you flipped it upside down, you had to be careful because sometimes the pieces dragging against the ground would be breaking. So it ended up being a lot of the time when I played with that set, I wanted to keep it right side up because I didn't want anything to fall apart. This though, that's not the case. It very clearly is built to be sturdy from both sides. So when you have it like this, the bottom's not dragging against the floor. And when you have it like this, the other side's a lot closer to the floor, but it's still not hitting it. And this side is so smooth and tightly put together that there's not like any loose pieces that'll fly off while you're moving it around like this. And it is just satisfying to do that transformation, to spin the front of the car around. And if you want to like pose this car to yourself, you could also get some like fun dynamic action poses with the transformation, where you have it sort of tilted to one side, maybe you can like add a support beam in here. It sort of gives the illusion of some really complex suspension. Anyway, visually, I love the bright yellow on the wheels. I think that's a really cool color for them, which I believe is new for this set. The tires too, I don't know if I've seen this specific tire design before. A lot of tires come from Technic originally, which is a theme I don't touch or look at ever. So I assume it's probably not new or anything for this set, but it's neat to see it in Ninjago. I don't know if it's ever been used here before. The Lightning Dragon side, of course, reuses this piece from Crystallize, which I'm surprised is still around in this color combination, but it does look really cool. I especially like the dragon claws at the front that are sort of reaching over. It does make it actually look like a dragon is embedded in the center of this car. I'm curious what the context of this is going to be in the show, because clearly there's no like dragon face or anything, but the way they did the claws and everything does make it feel like it's in there. We have a nice stickered element right here showing some of that electricity power, and if we flip it over, it's mostly just blue. We've got a nice J symbol right here and some like metallic detailing, an engine and some exhausts, and in this mode those dragon fingers sort of make up the front bumper instead. Every year I continue to be impressed that the 2012 spinner crown is still coming in sets, but I also never want that to end. I think this is such a cool piece. But yeah, as I mentioned, there's one of these on each side, and they have a stickered part in the center again with some of that lightning energy. Pretty sure it's the same sticker on each. And then the seating area for the car is sort of like this open top buggy design. I do like that it's not completely open from the top, right? You have these beams and like the open windshield right here. And it's very nice that this could fit 2 minifigures, because not every Ninjago vehicle can do that. That's perfect for Jay and Nia to ride around together. I also would have liked if this was the Nia vehicle instead of a Jay vehicle, just because we still never get Nia vehicles. They very easily could have used Nia's color scheme and Nia's symbols here, and it would have felt blue enough to still fit for Jay. But nope, Nia is still relegated to being the passenger in Jay's vehicle. This also happened with Core. He got a Core car that was the 2 of them, but it was really just him. It is cute how the 2 of them fit in there at the very least. They do look nice side by side. There's a little stickered console piece in the center of the car to show like the transformation. You've got the back of the car right here, and then the options to either go normal mode or dragon mode. These lights back here help this to feel like an off-road vehicle. They gotta illuminate whatever's in front of them in like this forest that they seem to be in this season. The texturing on the side is very pretty. They use some of these like super specialized Speed Champions parts. And I always call them Speed Champions parts, even though not knowing for sure if they come from Speed Champions, but I mean, look at this. Would this piece come from any theme that's not Speed Champions? I doubt it. I have such mixed opinions on those pieces because they are super useful for building, don't get me wrong. But Speed Champions also gets to a point where it's like, how specialized are we going to get in terms of pieces? Because they have so many different variations of angles and like specific slopes. It does look good though, I cannot deny it does look good. I just feel like creating so many of these does lose a little bit of the LEGO DNA. But if they exist, I'm glad at the very least they're not just locked to that theme. Ninjago gets to play with them a little bit too. And they do a good job of not like relying on them too much. This is not like a Ninjago Speed Champions set. This is absolutely a Ninjago set that uses them to create some unique shapes. course. Also, I don't think I mentioned, but Jay's symbol is right there as well. Coming off the back of the car, we got some pretty sweet flag pieces that are stickered with little lightning dragons on them, and that's basically the same sticker on both sides, just mirrored. On the back of the car here, we have a spring-loaded shooter, which Jay and Nia can use to fight against the enemies. But this is also like a point of conflict in the set, because this can actually be removed, and then attached to the side build so that the villains can use it instead, but we'll take a look at that in just a moment. With it removed, you can see there's some thrusters back here to propel the car forward, or maybe those are just exhausts. And then finally, one more thing that can be removed, there's this crate. And this is another thing that you can have the heroes and the villains fighting over. And if you open it up, there is just 2 golden sides inside. Not the most unique weapons in the world, but an interesting alternate part for your minifigures. If you wanted to know, here's how the entire car looks from the underside. And I think that's about all I have to show you for this build. Overall, I like this car. I think it's sleek, I think the play features are fun, I like that it fits 2 minifigures, it looks nice on a shelf. I got significantly more out of the set than I was expecting to. And that's not everything in it, so now let's take a look at the side build in the set, then the minifigures, and then I'll give you my overall thoughts on everything at the end. Here's the side build in the set. It literally is just the tiniest bit of terrain. Happy it's here, but it's like not that many pieces. You do get this new leaf piece, which is brand new for this wave, which is neat. I appreciate that there is multiple ways to get that part. But yeah, essentially the play feature here is you take that turret from the car and you can attach it right here instead. So now if you want, you can have this be a villain turret shooting at the car, or you can imagine the car was pulled over and the ninja deployed the turret right here. Either way, it's up to your own imagination. I like that this option's here, even if this is not like a huge side build. It's a little funny though, this side build's not even included on the box art. I don't know if it was like a last minute addition, or if they just couldn't find a way to make it work on the box. But yeah, this is me saying yes, this is here, this is in this set. Here's the first minifigure in this set, Dragon Form Kai, which if you've been watching these reviews, yeah, the ninja are dragons this wave for some reason. Not entirely sure why it is, it's true form apparently, whatever that means. But hey, I mean, it makes for some cool minifigures. They all use these new dragon tail pieces, which are like a soft plastic, so there's a little bit of give to them. However, they're not like actually articulated at all. And then they all reuse the Dragonian wing pieces from 2025. Now Kai, interestingly, is the only dragon form ninja to not have a new color for his wings, because the dark red wings were introduced on the Dragonians, while everybody else recolors them. I do find it interesting that Kai uses dark red because most of the other ninja use their primary color as their wing color. So for example, in Kai that would be the normal red. So I would think, oh, they just use the dark red because they could reuse them, but then Lloyd strangely also uses the secondary color, and that's not involving a reused part anywhere. So at least Kai is not the only one to use the secondary color, and honestly, I don't know which of the two I prefer. I feel like using the secondary color like Kai does makes it a more consistent color scheme, because the dark red feels like it's all over this minifigure as opposed to only in the mask and in the arms, but both honestly look quite good. The new dragon form masks are sick, I really love the horns that it has at the back, and then all the minifigures have very similar torso designs with this dragon and their symbol in the center, and then they're covered in these dragon scales. However, on each ninja the design of the dragon scales is slightly different, and you can see on Kai they're all meant to look like little bits of fire, which I think is very effective. Aside from that though, he just has like scales on his knees, which all the ninja have, little like dragon toes. I like the dark red belt that hangs down because that's actually the same color as the arms, the wings, and the mask. On a lot of the other ninja, that belt is a different color than what you see everywhere else. But I think Kai has the least colors of any of the ninja, which might make him a little more boring, because I will say at least in terms of color scheme this is not as striking as some of the others, but visually it does just objectively look quite good. I've got the dragon power eyes on Kai because they will be using those in the show, and they use this very cool new golden armor. It's gigantic and they've got like these triangular blades on them. Then here's a look at this minifigure with everything removed, and there's a look at the back torso print. Again, you still have that fiery scale design. This guy is technically exclusive to this set, however he's the least exclusive of any of the Dragon Ninja, because normally the Dragon Hood pieces only come in one set, however you can also get this in the $10 mech. And because the wings are also on the Dragonians, the only exclusive part about this figure is the tail piece. However, the tail is pretty significant, so if you want the full Dragon Kai, this is the only set you can get him in. I like the Dragon Ninja though, they're quite well done. Then here are the next 2 minifigures in the set, 2 more ninja. We have Nia and we have Jay. These 2 are in their regular forms for this wave, which are very similar to the dragon forms, except they don't have their tails, they don't have their masks, and they don't have their wings, but the torso and legs are the same. Now, in every other set, the like normal version of the minifigure still includes the armor piece, however, these 2 did not include it here, which is a bit unfortunate. I know the reason why that is, it's because they probably would not fit into the car with the armor piece, so to make it easier for kids especially to pull the minifigures in and out, they just left it out entirely. But whenever that happens, that is always a shame to see, because I think it would have been great to get 2 extras of the armor piece here for these 2. But yeah, you can see generally they have the same overall aesthetic as Kai that we just saw. Nia has sort of water-shaped scales, and Jay's scales I guess are like vaguely lightning bolt-shaped. They almost more like create the shape of a shield, which I also think looks quite cool. You can see what I was talking about here with Kai though, where Kai only had 2 colors, red and dark red, but Nia and Jay both have 3. Nia's got the azure for her main color, the dark red for her belt, and then the gunmetal gray for her arms, and then Jay has regular blue as his main color, dark blue for his belt, and then light yellow on the arms, which by the way, very cool to see light yellow back after all this time, and also just an official Jay suit back after all this time, because he was stuck with non-canon suits for a while, and then we had Dark Jay, and and then we had Rogue, but now we are back to having an actual Ninja J minifigure. I do think it's a bit unfortunate that his half mask and his headband are not the same color. I would have loved if the headband was recolored in dark blue or just give him a regular blue mask. But at the very least, he does have the dark blue on his belt, so I think it looks fine. Like, this all does fit together. And then here they are with their half masks and hairpieces removed. You can see Nia just has her standard post-Ninjago movie face. But Jay, interestingly, has a brand new face for this wave. This is also in the Legacy sets. And this is simply because the old, like, movie Jay face, that's retired. It hasn't come in a set since 2023. So when it came time to bring Jay back as a ninja, making a new face or bringing back the old one would have been the same cost. So they decided to do an entirely new expression for him, which I think is awesome. This angry face, I feel like, is a little intense for Jay specifically. I don't know if I've ever seen Jay make this face, even as Dark Jay, but it's a new one for him at the very least, and I'll take a new expression. The alternate face, though, I love. This feels straight out of the show, especially like Wild Brain era Ninjago. I've definitely seen Jay make this face before, and it's one that we do not have in the collection already. So it is neat to have a way to get that. And then here are the final two minifigures in the set, the two villain minifigures. We have the Loyalist Leader and we have the Earth Monster. The Loyalist Leader is a bit of a spoiler for the show. My policy with spoilers is I don't talk about them unless they're in the sets, and of course this is in the set, so I consider it not a spoiler. But if you don't want to be spoiled about anything plot related, just skip this part of the video, because this character has an alternate face that reveals their identity, and I don't know how big of a deal that identity is going to be in the show, if it's going to be a mystery, if it's not going to be. But if you don't even want to risk that, just skip this part, because I'm going to reveal it. Alright, ready? 3, 2, 1, it's Dr. LaRoe. That's why they're called the Loyalists. I'm pretty sure they are loyal to Imperium, the original Imperium government, that is. And I don't know what their plans are. She's got this really weird dragon symbol on her back as well as on her staff. I talk about this more in the Dragon of Life review if you want to see me go in depth. But it's very strange looking. It's got huge fangs, 2 different horns, a tentacle, and like this fire coming out of it. She has a mask too of that same dragon face. And her robes are all Imperium colors, but it's not all high-tech like Imperium was. Instead, it's a much more like fantasy-esque design. And then the Earth Monster is one of the 3 elemental monsters this wave. He reuses the crystallized armor piece but in transparent orange. And he's got this really cool new head accessory piece, which is also the weapons in his hands. You get a total of 3 of it in this set. And I think that's so sick how accessible they made these, because it's a really cool part. That part, of course, makes him look like a beetle, but then he is an Earth Monster, so he's got all these rocks and cracks in his torso, and it looks like there's maybe a little bit of lava or magma in the center of his chest. He's wearing a chain with his emblem, which the Loyalist Leader also has. I really like the subtle metallic silver that he uses as well. That adds some nice dimension to the figure. He is probably my least favorite of the elemental monsters this wave, and he is easy to get, coming in quite a few sets. But that being said, he is not bad at all. I think this is a fantastic minifigure design and a super cool villain. But now, overall, what are my thoughts on this set? I mean, like I said throughout this video, I was pretty impressed by this. I wasn't expecting much going in, but I like it. Far from my favorite set of the wave or anything, but I really don't have any critiques either. Like, this does exactly what it wants to do quite well. However, there is one thing I haven't touched on yet, and that is the price. And I feel like these days, Ninjago always has one set like this every single wave, where the price just makes 0 sense at all. It's just like, what happened? Who made this decision? Why is it like this? And it usually is like this $55 slot, because yeah, this is $55 US, and I don't see that anywhere in this build. You do get 5 minifigures, which I guess does help drive up the value, because 5 minifigures in like a $40 set would feel like a lot. And there is some pretty high quality minifigures, like the Earth Monster is very detailed, so is like Dragon Kai. But at the end of the day, the car build feels like a $40 set, with inflation maybe $45. $55 is definitely pushing it, especially for 387 pieces. And piece count's not everything, but piece count is something. Both the physical size of the build and the piece count do not feel like $55. The only thing that feels like $55 is maybe the minifigure selection. So honestly, with the price in mind, I'd say this is a good set, but if you like it, wait to get it on sale. If you're a huge fan of Kai and you really want Dragon Form immediately, or you're a huge fan of Jane Nia and you want the Jane Nia car immediately, at the very least, it's not a bad set, so if you have that budget to spare, I don't think it's like a bad idea to pick this up. But if you're looking for the best value for your money, probably go elsewhere. This set's definitely not it. So yeah, it's just another one of those cases of a great set with a poor price point. But of course, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of this set in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it and subscribe to my channel if you're new. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, let me know in the comments which 2026 Ninjago set do you want to see an early review of next. But as for this video, I think that's about all I have to say, so thanks for watching everybody, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!